Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. If you're early, you're going to get this live. If you're watching the recording of this, great. It means you will learn something at the start of this webinar. Now, I want all of you guys who are in here and all of you who are watching it, please share the video. Now, here's the thing. You might say, well, yeah, I just watch it because I like it. I mean, everybody who wants it will find it. That's not true. The reason you're here, the reason you're listening to what I do, and the reason you're learning something from this is because somebody took some time to go click share on that video, shared it somewhere, and you happen to see it. Maybe it was, it was forced, sent to you as an impression by YouTube, and YouTube only send those impressions when there are more likes, there are more comments, and there are more shares on the video, right? So you can leave your comment. Tell people what you think about it. The only people who really comment every day on all my videos are the comments you don't see. Those are the spammers. Literally spammers, right? And spammers and the trolls. They're consistent in making their comments, but they all get filtered out because you can set your YouTube filter to filter out nonsense, and it does filter out nonsense. But those people, they don't stop. All day they don't see their comment, it's filtered. They still don't stop every day. Within the first second I post the video, there are about 5-6 comments that you never see because they're all spams, right? Spamming somebody on WhatsApp, making them millions of dollars. I don't know what's the purpose of it, but it's there. So, true, Jody, I'll agree with that. So let's go. I want to start today's session with this as a lesson for you, right? Why wave analysis is your thing to go to. Remember what we said. Well, this is your first move up, this is a move, and this is a move. We're in corrections, right? So I tell you, this will be your first correction. We're going to go up. This, once it tags the top, you need to get it to break even because it might go higher. It doesn't have to break the top, but then it's going to drop like this. You need to do this one, and then you would need to go back up, which means this would have to go back up, right? What type of patterns you get depends on the depth of which each one of these impulses will go. Will this impulse come and break the low? All of that will depend whether you're making a running flat, a regular flat, or what type of flats you're making. So right now, the middle of it is dangerous to trade. Remember, I told you it's a very high risk trade, but sometimes you can take the trade just to see how you're testing your skill level. And you don't need to panic. My traders know this. They know the rule of it. If you didn't close there, wait for it to drop. Remember what I said to you yesterday? As soon as this get back to break even, close it. And when back to break even, you close the trade. My traders know that rule. We have a general rule like that. We explain it every day and we show it. So in wave analysis, because nothing moves in a straight line, we are not expecting this to tag you there and drop through the bottom. It happens sometimes, but it's rare. We know that it will pull back. We know that it will make waves on the way. And those waves allow you to exit for positive or small, very small loss. And that is why sometimes we keep our stop twice the risk where we would normally risk a basic stop. Sometimes we make it half the risk we would normally risk a basic stop. So even if you're risking like a 1% per trade, we would change that sometimes just because one of those changes will allow us to get rid of the trade much faster. If you do a poll on traders, why traders lose, right? You would figure out the main reason why most traders lose is not because they can't make a winning trade. It's because not because they've never won a trade. It's not because there's no winning trade in their account. They're not making money. It's because of the losing trades. You would make 10 trades for the month and 8 of them are profitable, and then 2 trades destroy your account. And no trader can look at me and say, that never happened to me. It happens to almost every single one of you once, at least one. And the reason for that is the management of the trades. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you a very basic stat to go with. Let's put a basic stat that you flip a coin and you take a trade. So there's a 50% chance you'll be right or you'll be wrong, right? Let's put it that way. But let's say every time you're wrong, you close that trade for break even, or you close it for half of the amount, half of the percent, half of the amount you're risking. So if you're risking 1%, you close it for 0.5%, right? Half of the amount. It shouldn't be 0.5%, half of the amount you're risking. So that should be half of the amount you're risking. So you either get break even or you get half of the amount you're risking, like in this case, every time. But every time you win, you actually win the full sum you're going to win. So even if that is 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, if you have a 50% chance of winning, and let's say it worked perfect and you actually won 50 and you lose 50, that is not how it works here, right? Because every flip of the coin is a 50-50, so you can lose all 100 of your trades, right? But let's say you do win some. If you take this win-loss ratio here, if you take this, win-loss profit, right? what you will find out, if you win 1-to-1 and you win 25% of the trade, you get 25% of what you're risking, right? And if you can take 75% of your trade as loss, but you can bring 50% of those to break even, it means only 25% will be real loss at half of the amount you're risking. So if you're closing them for half of the amount you're risking, then you're only losing 12.5%. See how easy it becomes? So you make 25, you lose 12.5. You're still 12.5% up on your account, losing 75% of your trade and winning only 25%. That is if you take 100 trades, right? Just to make it nice. You see how simple it is. So your biggest problem why you're losing is not that you can't make a winning trade, it's because you're making too darn bad losing trades. And that has been happening with many, many traders all the time. So what I've worked out is a strategy of how to get rid of that problem, how to solve that problem. That is a chronic problem with traders. And Georgie is a good example. Georgie, sorry to use you. She will tell you, Georgie is very good at identifying patterns and making trades. She will win trades the whole week, and then at the end of the week, she'll make 1 or 2 trades destroy her, right? And I said, hey, you got to stop doing this. This is what we're going to do. And she's been seeing difference in that. She's been seeing difference in her account, and it's working really good. And I do that with all my traders. I said, now we're going to work on getting rid of your problem, the chronic problem of you losing all your money in a few small trades, in a few trades. Instead of, and when you're in the win, there is a rush to take profit. When you're in a loss, there's a fear of closing the trade because it's going to come back your way. So you live in that hope and fear. The fear of closing and the hope is going to come back your way. So you live in that hope and fear. And then what happens? You watch it go against you and keep going and keep going and keep going. And the farther away it go, the worse it is for you to close it, because first you're losing 1%, now you're losing 2%, then you're losing 3%, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to lose 3%. When it comes back down, I'll close it. And then you watch it become 5%, and then you watch it become 10%, and now you start to panic and you're hoping it's going to come back down for you. And it starts to come down a little, and you're like, oh, thank God it's going to go. And then you watch it spike back up, and now you're losing 15%. It took you 10 trades to make 15%, and it takes you 1 trade to lose 15%. See the problem now? That is the chronic problem with most traders out there. So what we have done is, or what I have personally done, is created a solution to that problem. And if you're very careful in what you watch the whole week we're doing, you're going to find that not a single trade went to our stop loss. Not a single trade goes back. Rarely the trades go and get your stop loss because it moves really fast. We're closing all the bad trades way before they get to the stop loss. But the ones that go, you stay with them. You end up getting more profit. Or you close and you re-enter, and you close and you re-enter, and you keep following that stage, following it as it's going to make profit. And that is what is amazing about this method, because it allows you to do that. Because of it's a wave analysis, it allows you that possibility to do that. And that is why I was showing you here. And I remember I said, all these trades we record because we will let you see them. We will show you how we do them. And that is why we record everything in our group. Every session is recorded in our group. Once I'm in there, we record it so traders can go back and watch. What did he do with this trade? What happened to that trade? Right? This is not a case where you get a signal and then, hey, forget, don't bother me about that signal anymore, right? That's your problem, not my problem. We don't do that. We're training traders to trade properly. And then we take responsibility for that. So you see, I told you once it started to go back, it will get to your break even, close it. You close that trade. And remember, I said, I'm keeping it so that you can see how it happened. Go back and watch the recording. Those were my exact words. I'll leave this buy setup here so you can see when and how we do it. Take it off. Now you should be in the sell. And the way you should have sold this was when you see this flag here. This was your sell setup, right? Because I would assume this is 1, 2, 3. This one didn't go up. Even if you thought this was going to go up and you didn't sell it, no problem. Don't worry about this. There's another one you can sell. That is the pound. And there are many other ones you could have traded that would have given you this move. So now what we're going to look for is 1, 2, 3. We broke the low. So now there's no trade there unless you actually get another flag. If this thing actually makes another flag here, only then you can go for 1 trade, 1 impulse down. What we're looking for is for this to go back to the top. And it is done what we expected to do. 1, 2, 3. If this turns here to make a flag, we will buy. If it makes a flat at the bottom there, we'll sell it. So that was your lesson for today. Let's go. We'll start with silver. Silver short term, you sold it yesterday. If you sold it, if you actually got tagged here and you stay with the trade, that's good. But you should have closed it here and re-enter somewhere here or somewhere at the bottom here. If you didn't do either of that, or you took it off, or you were not tagged, that's okay. What we have here is, like we said, we're expecting this to be a flat. It turns out it is a flat, a very big one. Now you have 1, 2, and I said they will come down back. I thought we'll get a flag somewhere to sell. You didn't get a flag, it dropped. No problem. You have 1, 2, 3. So if this is doing what we think it's doing, go back to the 4 hour now. If this is doing what we think it's doing, we'll put the top there. And then we should expect this to start going back up, right? At least to this top. And then from there, we can drop. Now, is there a chance that this one is going to come all the way to the bottom here? Well, if it does that, we're going back to this level. And then we're coming down here. But if we come down, if this becomes a flat in here and we come down from here, there's a chance we're going to go back here, make a bigger flat, and then drop. See? That is where you start to understand the depth of wave analysis. Each flat, the size of the flat, the degree in which it's consolidated, how it's in the bigger structure or the smaller structure will tell you whether that structure will continue to develop or that's the end of the structure. And this is where it becomes complicated for you guys. It becomes really difficult to do it because you can do the basics 1, 2, 3, but 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3, and then a 1, 2, 3, and then a 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then you can repeat that again in the opposite direction 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here, right? And then all of that becomes 1. Either this becomes a 2 and we go for a 3, or you have this here as a 2. You can look at that as a 1, 2, and this here becomes the 3. Right? Now is when it becomes complicated. How do you put this to create the bigger pattern? And you would see it if you go back and you look at charts, right? If you go back and you look at charts, it's easier to see hindsight. So you would look at this and say, yeah, I've seen this pattern clearly. Oh, this one is easy. Why not? I would have seen that. But guess what you would be thinking when it's at the top there? You'd be thinking, oh my God, this thing is going up. I should be buying. We were looking for sells. We were looking for sells and we were looking for sells. And that's the big advantage, is that you're looking for sells at places where everybody is thinking the opposite. Look at this big one. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. What would you be looking for when you see it? Well, in this case, I'll be honest, we thought it's going to come here first and then go. But once it starts to go as a contracting flat, this might be your first chance that, you know what, this thing is going to go up. But in some cases, like I said, in some cases, even if you don't get the trade you're looking for, it doesn't matter. If you miss this, I am pretty sure that some other trade happening with the dollar pair, because this probably moved because of the dollar, was giving you a perfect setup. So if the silver doesn't have a perfect setup, maybe gold had a perfect setup, maybe euro, maybe pound, maybe Aussie, maybe New Zealand. So you will get the perfect setup on a dollar pair if dollar movement is happening. You don't have to take the ones you don't understand. You take the ones you understand and you trade those, the simpler ones. In this case, this is a simple one. It's just consolidating. We're in the middle of that consolidation. This is the range of the consolidation. We're in the middle of it right now. We're assuming that this is going to come here and it's going to go back up. It could go to the top or it could stay and make a flat in the middle. If this becomes a bigger flat in the middle, it can stay here for a longer time. Then we will come here, we will go there, and then we'll drop. Now, do I think this could be the start of the upside? If it was the start of the upside, normally they don't consolidate that much at this level. So I believe we're in a consolidation that will eventually go downwards. Let's wait and see. Right now, you don't have a trade. I'm going to try to go faster now. This one, I hope you didn't get tagged there. That could happen sometimes. If you got tagged, you don't need to panic. Keep your stop here. This is the impulse. This is the correction. So if you got tagged here, you can do two things. Two things you should do very fast. Normally, let me see what time that was. That was around 6. So that's okay. That's the time you should keep it in. But if you got tagged and it starts to pull back, you could do two things. Your stop has to be under the impulse, the bigger impulse, right? Because this is a bigger correction. This here becomes the impulse and this becomes the correction, right? On the bigger picture, you would check to see whether that impulse is ending anything. No, it's not. I don't think this structure made 1, 2, 3 ended there and it's coming down totally. If it's coming down totally, you still want to exit the trade. Now, this is coming down really slow. And that means that at some point, this will go back up, right? What if it's not going to go back up? Then it will start to make a correction like this. Right? Start to make a correction like this for downside, a correction like this for upside. So when that correction starts, you'll use that opportunity to get rid of that trade for less than what you're risking, right? So this here was your risk. You try to get rid of it here. If that happens, if it takes off to the upside and we're still expecting it to go, great. If you were in my group with my traders, then you'd go to the 15 minutes. That's not something I think you're ready to do. You'd go to the 15 minutes and you'll close it here because that's a sell setup, right? But that's something that I wouldn't, it might be difficult for you guys to do. So we're going to leave this. We're going to just change this here. And I would leave this here with this on here so that you would see how we do it, just like I did on the New Zealand. So you would have to see how we manage the trade and how we close it. You still have a stop loss. That's your ultimate place where you take the loss. But as of now, we have to get rid of that for much less than you plan to risk on the trade, right? I still think this one is upside. We haven't seen a structural change for downside, right? So even if this is going to go down, even if it comes a little more, there's a chance it's going to do this and then drop. So there will be a flat here if we assume that that is all the correction. So let's go with the assumption that this was all the correction. And this is an impulse and this is a correction. And this piece is sharp. This is slow. This one would have to go back up somewhere here, go back to the top there, make a flat, and then drop. I still believe we're in a bigger flat there because this, and there's a reason for that. We're not going to go into those patterns. That's a complex one. So I'm going to leave this here and we're still looking for the upside. That has not changed. So if you were not tagged or you're not in trade, your entry goes exactly above that top, which is the entry should be exactly where it is, a couple of pips higher above this top. That's the buy setup for if we get this trade to the upside here, if this goes. All right, let's go. So, I'm sorry, not that one. Pung. Magic works. You're in the trade and it's going great. Keep it until it breaks the low, put it to break even. When it breaks the low, you put it to break even, and then you start managing the trade to take profit. Because again, I don't think it's going to go all the way to the bottom. If it goes to the bottom and break the low, we're going to use this as the running flat, and congratulations to you. You have a really good trade. It's an amazing trade if it goes. Now, I don't think it's going to go. And the reason is because we looked at this one. This one had a big flat in it. See this? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a good chance this will make 1, 2, 3, and then drop. There's a very good chance, not necessarily, but a very good chance of it. If this one was a little higher, if this here was a little higher like this, I would assume that we're dropping to the bottom. Now, we will have to make the assumption that when you break that low, come a little lower, they're going to go back, and they can go back really fast. So what you're going to do is move your stops into this. There's no reason to move the stop except to give it a break even now. When we break this low, you'll break even. And then if we see any sign that it's turning, we're going to close the trade. Right? As of now, that's a good trade. It's still downside. EuroCAD. This should be a good sell. Here, you can put an entry for a sell. I am not sure. Oh, we were looking for a sell setup, right? Pink means we're looking for a sell setup. Well, now you can change that into a sell. So you can put an entry here for a sell and change that to a sell. From a sell setup to a sell, because we've got the setup for the sell. Where we expect that to come? We expect that to come back to this low here. There's a good chance this will become the B wave. Remember why we were not buying that? Even if it went up higher and break the top, go back, watch your webinar. I said, even if this goes up here, we're not buying it because there's a high risk. We expect this to come back here. And from here, we look at this as the B part of it because we'll have to go back up, come back down, go back up, finish this fair, and then drop. That is it. As of now, that's the forecast, but that's a forecast. The forecast can change if structure changes. If there's no structural change, then the forecast remains the same way. By the way, there's about 70 of you in the room, right? Please come back in the New York session. Use the same link. I know that thing is, it says only London 8 a.m., but we can't program 2 at the same time. So we leave it for 24 hours open, which means I want to see you in the New York session so you can follow up. Because the New York recordings are not posted, right? So they're only for our group and the people in the installment program. And the installment program is pretty cheap. It's $100. You're going to get 2 videos every day to follow up with, and sooner or later we'll put you in the live session on the thing. So you might want to consider taking that if you like what we do. So watch this. It could drop. It might start slow, but then it's eventually going to drop. 8 a.m. New York time. Same thing like the London. It's 8 a.m. New York. Somebody asked me what the time is. You can come in 7:45 New York time. We're there. You'll have your questions answered. If you come early, we take questions before we start 8 a.m., 15 minutes earlier, and we stayed on yesterday. We stayed on for like about 45 minutes answering questions after the recording stopped, right? And those are questions on anything, absolutely anything you want to ask. So let's go. Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss, if you're in the trade, you're making money. Again, why weren't we buying the Euro Swiss? Yesterday, I explained this in details. Why didn't we take that trade? Because I said it's probably going to do this and then do this and then do this, and eventually it's going to drop. Pretty simple, right? Not difficult. You're in this trade, put it to break even, you can't lose on it. Why you may want to put it break even? You had this consolidation already. By the way, for my traders, if you close and re-enter, put the stop here. Right? That is our thing. The close and re-enter is our thing. For you guys, don't worry about it. You should be in the trade. Right? So for my traders, I would put the second one, the close and re-enter. And put it, but as let me see. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you could probably have closed and re-enter. It was there for. Put your stop there, because you took off the profit already on that one, right? So just put the stop there and keep it. For the rest of the traders, keep your stop. If you don't put it to break even, keep your stop above here. We'll manage the stop. My traders trade in a little different thing, right? So we are managing it a little. It has to come and break this low. It's coming really sharp, so I assume they'll break the low first, and then from there we'll see. If it consolidates here longer, we'll close the trade for you. So the second one is for my trader. The first one you're still in, you can keep your stop here, because you see that consolidation there? We're not supposed to make another one like that unless it's a bigger one. So you put your stop here. So if your stop was here, move it above the stop here. So you're about 5 or 6 pips above where you enter, right? And that's the safe spot for you. Because if it goes back to that level, then what will happen here is it will start to make, if this goes back there, it will start to make a bigger consolidation here. And then we will sell the bigger consolidation. If it's going to continue to drop, ignore the small consolidations, right? Europa, the insurer is still here. By the way, this should have changed, and this could have been a buy setup if you saw this. I don't know if any of my traders saw that. Yesterday, we didn't have, yesterday we were at the top here. And now it dropped, right? So you put the insurer on it. But if you saw this going up with a flag there, you know you're retesting the top, right? So you have a flat here, you have a flat here, you're breaking the top. Put your entry under the low, we'll try to get it to the better place. Like I said, if the pound is going to drop, this and the euro is going to drop, this thing will stay in here for a while before it drops. So no problem. We leave the insurer here. You're not in the trade there. There should have been a short buy there. I think it would have been a good trade. Any of you guys took it? For the upside? The flat was perfect. You saw this. You literally saw this. And you see that flat there? That's a good buy setup for this trade. To break the top, take profit. Right? So if we are in the trading room, that's a trade you can take. It's an aggressive trade, but you see the risk to reward, and your stop is here, your entry is there. You're coming to break that top because you saw the flat. Okay, somebody bought it. That's great. Means somebody's paying attention to what we do. And then you can, the entry order for the sell is here. We'll try to get a sell from the top. So it's still a sell. That has not changed. Punkad. Okay, this one actually dropped again. Only this morning I actually saw this. I wasn't in the room. I saw this morning, and that would have been a sell, because when you see a perfect flat like this, they will drop somewhat, right? Remember, we're still in the consolidation. Okay, somebody took that sell to perfect. So we're still in the consolidation. This one I put this morning. This wasn't here. That was I put it before it broke, because I saw this flat and I was thinking when I come in the room, we will put a sell setup here for this trade, but it's gone already, so no problem. I saw that this morning and I was like, okay, let me put this line to remind me to put a sell setup here when we come in. And that would be something like this. So you will be moving to take profit very soon on this, because you're still in the consolidation, right? You're correcting this, and they start to do this. They can just stop here and go back up and, you know, continue this for a while before it goes out. For the buy setup, this goes above this last one here, right? You're still looking for the buy. The buy is this sharp move up that will happen. So you're still looking for that up move to happen in the console. Now, can it drop much lower? Now that you've made a very sharp move, any flag after that is something like this could be a sell. It's a short-term trade, right? It's not going to go very far. I don't think this one is going to drop and break the low. I doubt that's going to happen, right? Pound could start to go back up right now. It just broke the low. So if pound starts to go back up, all of this will go. Euro pound will fall, pound CAD will go up. So it is still a buy setup. On the big picture, you're looking for this impulse up. On the small picture, you can trade in here only if you see something that is perfect. These weren't trade setup. We didn't take any of those. This was the first one that I see that you could have traded because of the pattern that it has in it, right? Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, my apologies. I might have to mute a few times because I think I'm getting a cold. My daughter got a cold, and somehow I might have got it from her. She plays with kids and she gets sick often. So it looks like I'm getting it now. I hope I can go through the whole week till the end of Friday without any problems. So let's hope for that. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, this one we're looking at this flat. This went a little higher. I would not buy it here because that's not a buy setup. But guess what happens? If you get a sell setup here, we'll take it. You don't need this sell. Take that off. You will not be selling it there. You're waiting here for a flag. So I would allow this to drop some more. Make a flag here, something like this. And that flag would be a sell setup. So if we get a flag, so we'll put it as a sell setup we're waiting for. But this is waiting for the sell setup. And Aussie Swiss, right? This was an aggressive buy. Remember I said we will sell this as soon as they break the top. So we were looking for an aggressive buy here. If it comes here, you would take break even. And then we would look for the sell if it comes down. If it goes up higher, we'll stay with the trade, right? So those were the two options. We know it looks more like a sell. Here's the thing. If it tags you there, this is where you close it. It drops and it starts to consolidate there. You see that consolidation right to the top of that consolidation. You take that trade off. So your entry was here. Your stop was here. This was your risk. Whether that was 1% or 2% risk, this is how you closed it. All your bad trades, you're going to take off for much less than what you're risking. I mean, really much less. That's almost break even, right? To what you're risking. You're risking this 2% or 1% of your account. That's where you close it. Now, would you sell this in here? No, I wouldn't, because we haven't broken that top, which means I would think we're still in consolidation. But when you break this low, any flag here would be a sell. If we didn't really get a flag, so I wouldn't think we would get that sell because there was no flag. Now, this is what you call a contracting flat, and they're pretty dangerous. Contracting flats are dangerous because they don't break that up and you're not sure whether you're still in the consolidation or whether it's dropping. You don't need to get this trade. You need to get any one of the other trades you're looking for that has a Swiss in it or has an Aussie in it, right? But not this one. No. So good question. Somebody is asking, is it possible you will never get a flag in here to sell this? I think 80% of the time you will get a flag. I can guarantee you that 80% of the time you will get a flag. 20% they just dropped. There was a flag here. This one had a flag here. The problem with selling that flag is we didn't break that top. Remember what I said, when this goes and break the top, any move done with a flag would be a sell. But because it didn't break the top, I will not, maybe I would sell it, but not in this case. I showed you one case where we would have sold, where we would have taken the trade, I think, right? When you saw the structure of it. So in this case, no, because we didn't break the top and this one is here, right? And the risk to reward in it, if it just comes back, tag this low and go back up would not be very good. But once it breaks here, if it does give a flag, then you go. Again, you don't have to worry about this single one. This one is at the bottom of the structure. I'm not even worried if I don't sell that. You know what I'm looking for this to do? Go back up. The breaking out of this is irrelevant. I showed you one. And any one of you can remember which one I showed you, the one that broke out the low and we still end up buying it because it went back up. I showed you the trade and I said, ignore whether it breaks the low, it's still going up. This is still going up. Now I'm going to give you a stat here and you guys should write this down for yourself. There's a 99% chance of this still going up. And this is the trade you are looking for. You're not looking for that trade. You're looking for this trade up, the bigger trade. See this small one here? You're not looking for when it break that low to sell here. You're looking for that move there. So this is the move you don't want to miss. Forget about the little one there. Can it go a little more? Maybe. But that's not the trade you're actually focused on, right? Because this is a big corrective structure. Wait for this to turn back up. That's a small contracting flat. So you miss the contracting flat, no problem. Wait for this to go back up. If you make any flag here now, like this, then it's a sell. Smaller flags, you can still take the risk. But the bigger move is to the upside. Focus on not missing the upside of the trade, right? If you understand wave analysis, that's your focus. Your focus is getting that move to the upside, getting these moves going, right? The bigger moves, not the smaller one. Here, can it stop here? Maybe. Can it go lower back to this level? Yeah, possible. On the big picture, it can go back all the way to the bottom there. I'm not expecting it to do that. But yeah, it can come back pretty much here. It will make a flag, we'll sell it. If it makes a flag or a correction, we'll keep selling. Once you break the low, any flag or correction you can sell. It's one single impulse down. But most likely, this is going to go back up here. And then from this point, it can come down here. See, you'll get 1, 2, 3, you'll get 1, 2, 3, you'll get 1, 2, 3. And then from here, it can go up. I just give you forecasts for about 2 years to come. And you can take a snapshot and come back to me in 2 years. See how that structurally changed or whether it did exactly the same thing. So we'll be here. I hope we'll be here for the turn to the upside. I hope it does it before Friday. So we'll take this trade off and we're looking for, well, we don't have anything. It has to make an impulse and a flag, and then we look for a buy setup. Sorry, yep, this one. Yeah, it's back at the top. Anybody took the buy? Here's another one. I tell you, you can take this buy. When it comes to this stop, take your profit. That's the trade. This is the stop. Now you're looking for the sell. See? Works like magic every time. So at this point, any flag here will become a sell. You don't have to sell it here. That would be a bad idea. The sell is here. Wait for this to drop. See this drop? It made a small flag. This will drop. It will make a small flag here. Wait for that small flag. We sell. Why selling the flag? Because this could still go. You're not buying here. We're not trying to buy it there. That's not the trade. The trade is to the downside. Where we'd expect this to go? Well, like this one here. I expect it to come down. So I expect this to come here. And then from there, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. Can it stay more complex in this whole piece here? Can it come here and then go back up and then come there? It could possibly do that. But let's get this straight to the downside. And that's a bigger trade. You should have got this trade to the upside yesterday. If you took that trade there, that's your trade. Now you're looking for the sell setup. Wait for the sell setup. We don't have a sell setup. So we'll take it off. The buy is over, so we'll take that off, the short term sell. And these, we don't really follow up to them, but I can show you. Remember, I said you want to be careful. If these starts to fall, you could wait for any flag here and sell it because they look more corrective than thing. Now, why you want to wait for a flag? Because you see the sharp move here, how it dropped here and it went back up. There's a good chance they can drop here and go back up. And they can do it really fast. You'll end up with a running flat here and then we'll look for the sell. Right? We don't have a buy setup. We don't have a sell setup. You can put an in short under the low. Why you want to put an in short under the low? Because if it just keeps dropping like that without any flag, you will get the trade. Right? It's good. If they make a flag, we'll take the trade. We're hoping that we get a flag from now to New York session, and that would be a good trade setup. Same thing here and same thing here. Right? Works like magic. Actually, you should be in this trade already. This one, we put it here because we had this flat here, right? And we said this is the impulse, and when this dropped, if it dropped fast, you want to trade. So if you're in this trade, you just manage the trade now. When it breaks the low, go a little more, put it to break even and see how far it goes. How do we know they were going to drop? Basically, that's what you do. All right, let's go. Dollar index, nothing new. 1, 2, go back to the top, break this top. Hopefully they break the top this time. Sometimes they don't when it's contracting. Hopefully we break this top, and then we're looking for this down. Now, the depth at which this was going to come here will tell us a lot of stories, right? I mean, if this really go all the way to the top here and break that top, then we're definitely going up when it comes back down. If it doesn't break the top, which means, 1 second, guys. Yeah, I'm getting a cold. That's not good. So let's go. You got this. Remember why we said that sell is dangerous? Because you're in the correction. So this can go. Watch it when it breaks that top. We'll be looking for a sell setup like this. We'll be looking for a trade down to the bottom there. This should be a flat, and that flat should go back up. But can it actually drop totally to the downside back? Let's see in the big picture what we're looking at. So in the big picture, both are possible. This could come here and drop all the way back to the bottom here. That would be a flat here. And this would be 1, 2, 3 back to the bottom here. Then we go up one more. Right? Then we assume that that's a running flat for one more up. It could also come here. Come back here, it will continue and make this flat. But if it comes really much to the top, what they're going to do is they're going to make one more here. And then somewhere in the future, we're going to get this for a running flat. So the question now is which one of those is going to happen? Why bother your head with something you don't know, right? Just trade each piece individually, and then they'll tell you which one. So I would really hope they break the top, because if this starts to fall from here, we're going to have a contracting flat, and that is dangerous. You already saw how dangerous contracting flats can be. So we really, really want them to go now and break the top and then come back, give us a flag, and we'll sell. Right? If it comes from here and give us a flag, we'll take the trade, but we'll take it as an aggressive trade, because this is not telling us any story. It could come here and go back up still. We wanted to drop to this bottom. So we wanted to break the top, turn, give us the trade, we'll be in the trade. Let's wait and see. Okay, this is doing nothing, leave it. Again, this is a contracting flat. See, we thought it's a contracting flat. This was supposed to drop. We actually sold that. We closed the trade. It's not going anywhere. Now it's doing this. And I think this looks like they should come and break this top, because when they break the top, they're going to drop. And the big picture, when it breaks that top, it is going to drop. See this? So if we can get this to go, this one is a running flat, by the way. All right, so if you can get this to go here and break that up, then this trade, this sell will be amazing, because it's a really big move to the downside. I'm going to leave this open here, assuming that it will go break the top, because I think this is just turning out to be a bigger correction. I wasn't expecting a big correction in this. I thought they would go really fast, because there was a lot of correction in this one already. There was a drop, a correction, a drop, a correction, a drop, a correction, a drop. So this is enough of a correction here. This is sharp. This one should have gone sharp. After this flag, we should have taken off all the way to the top. And that is why I thought it was a contracting flat, because this move was sharp and now you start looking like it's going down. But they pull back here and they're still going up. So we'll wait and see. We don't have a sell setup. That's the most important thing we're looking for, a sell setup. And we don't have a sell setup. If this here is the drop, if this piece, let's say this is some kind of an expanding flat and this is the drop, we'll wait for a flag here and we'll sell it, right? Now, if this drop doesn't mean that it's going to go down, it could just come and break this low and go, but we will still take the trade. It could break this low, make a bigger flat here, and then go back up. We'll still take the trade, we'll manage the trade, we'll put it in the positive, and then we'll see where it goes from there, all right? Let's go. Euro. Okay. So now that euro came up, it's going down. Those of you who are in the sell, just be cautious. I do think it's going to break this low. We were expecting this to probably drop some more. Maybe make a little more pullback and drop, break this low. And then we're looking for the buy setup to the upside. So the way we look at this pattern, what we think it could do, right? So here is how we work with wave analysis. You do a forecast of the possible patterns that exist. So this is the impulse. This one came down to the bottom. This needs to go back to the top. That's the first simple flat you would learn. A simple, regular flat. Now, it can get much more complex than that, but we will start with the simple one. So if this does what we want it to do, even if it goes up from here, any up move with a flag, any flag, see the small flag here, would be enough to buy it to go back to that top. Now, when it breaks this top, you put that in the positive, because you have 1, you have 2, you have 3. It can still go one more down. So you would have this flat, you get this, you get a bigger flat, you get one more down, and then they can still go back up there. So what is going to happen in here is you're going to have a much more complex pattern. That doesn't stop you from trading. That just gives you the knowledge of the possibilities that exist. Knowledge is power. Knowing things is powerful. So then when you know that, that's how you would know, how should I manage this trade? Now, taking a trade from somewhere here to the top there, it's pretty much a good trade. Worst case is you'll get very small profit out of it, but you want it to come here. So this is the trade you're aiming for. And if it goes all the way there, great. Congratulations. You got yourself a nice trade. We look for the sell setup. So now we wait for a buy setup. We wait for this to stop. We wait for it to go back up, make a flag, give us a correction, a small flag, a very small flag. A small flag like this would be okay. A small one like that would be okay. And we would definitely sell. So let's wait. It should come a little lower. We also wanted to break the low first. We really want this to come and break the low here first. We don't want another contracting flat. Too many contracting flats, right? Let's go. Aussie. Aussie, we didn't buy it. I assume they wouldn't go very far. They'll just probably break this top. They didn't break the top. That leaves you again with possible another contracting flat in here. We can look at this as a possible contracting flat, because this one is coming down already, breaking this low. Now that you've broken that low, I think we have 1, we have 2, we have 3. If I'm right about that, we have 3. If I'm wrong about that, we have this. Let me take this out and show you the 2 possibilities, right? Let's assume that this B wave is not finished, that we are making a more complex B wave. And this is how complexity develops, right? So you can look at this, that this is 1, that is 2, this is 3. And then we're going to just go back up for this one. Make another flat there, come back down for this one, and then go back up for that one. That possibility exists? Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. buying from the bottom here to go to that top is a good idea. It doesn't matter whether that becomes a break-even trade or not. You will get break-even in that trade. But if I'm right about it, which means if this is completed, and the reason I'm thinking this is complete, I'm looking at euro, I'm looking at pound, I'm looking at silver, I'm looking at the ones that have patterns that are already completed and say, well, maybe that is completed. And this is just doing what the euro is doing. 1, 2, 3. So we need to go back to that top, complete this one, and then drop. Pretty similar to what euro has or what pound has. So if it is going to do that, great. All you need to do is this, we broke the low here now. Let it go back up, make a flag. We're going to buy to this top. So I'm going to put the line where we're buying to. So put a line here, and we wanted to get back to that top. If it is not going to do that, then what is likely going to happen here is you're going to have another flag here. And we can take one sell, put it to break even. If it drops to the bottom, good. If it comes all the way here and start to go back up, we close the trade, we look for the buy back to the top. Now, every sell here becomes dangerous because you're selling within a consolidation. And that is very dangerous. What you want is a trade to the upside. You want this impulsive move to the upside. That is the one we're looking for, and that is the one we'll try to get. We're in this bigger structure, right? I like that one. And I always tell my traders the same thing. I'll read this. Somebody wrote, "You make it look easy. Thank you so much for your sessions. I know you're kind." I hope I am. I do try to be as best as I can and help as much as I can. I don't know how that goes over with everybody, right? So I'm glad you think so. My family thinks so. A lot of my friends think so, so I'm happy. Let's look at this. So here's the thing. You're at the bottom here. So sells are not so great when you're at the bottom. Remember, we bought that up, we sold this down. So at some point, this starts to go back up. Now, if this comes here and come back to this level, if it makes this flat, it will probably drop one more here and then start the upside. So we would sell it from this top coming here too, and then we're going to trade that thing back up here, and then it could break out or it could come back down. So we're in the middle of a very, 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 very small flat, right? This is where we are. We're in the middle of this little piece at the bottom here, and that is where we're trying to make a trade today, right? You know what's the trade? This would be your trade when this starts to go out of that. But let's get this trade here. Let's get that little buy to the top there. Let's get the sell back to the bottom here, and then let's get that trade to the top. That is how you understand pattern. Go back to the 1 hour. Come here. We've got 1, 2, 3. That's what we were expecting. Let's get the buy now to this top. So how much pips are there? Let's see. If it starts to make an impulse now, there's about 180 pips. Let's say the impulse is 30 pips. Let's say correct for about a couple hours. And then we can get, I don't know, we can get about 100 pips out of it. That would be great. That would be your trade. Let's go New Zealand. Well, I showed you New Zealand, and I think New Zealand might be doing the same thing. We could look at this now. Is this possible making 1, 2, 3 here, right? This broke the low. Let's see if we get that move to the upside. If we get it, perfect. We'll take this. As a matter of fact, New Zealand can go back all the way to the top, right? This could be a correction of its own. This could be the low. And we might be going back to this top here. So New Zealand might be a much more interesting buy to go with. Because not only do we expect it to come and break this top, or come and break this top, we can expect it to come all the way to that top. That might be a much better and much interesting trade. Let's keep our eyes on it. Go back to the 1 hour, and let's wait and see if we're going to get that trade. All right. So first, we want the trade to the upside. We want the trade to come and retest this top. That's the first thing. And then from there, we'll decide whether it's going to continue to go or whether it's going to turn. Okay, let's go. Swiss. It's just going sideways. I told you this is going to be a bigger flat. Leave it alone. Let it become a bigger flat. It's kind of, we have 1 sharp wave, 2 sharp wave, and we are like consolidating in here. Let this consolidate. It's going to break. It's going to go back up. It's going to do this. And then we're going to get the trade to the downside. We're not going to get that trade so soon. Under 15 minutes, if you're an aggressive trader, you have the skill level and you want to trade within this range, be my guest. There are trades within the range. Right, I can expect this to come back down here sharp. Do this like 1, 2, 3. I expect it to go back up like this. I'll expect it to come back down and go back up, and we might be in this thing for a while before you come down like this and then go back up like that, complete this one, and then probably drop. Now, if you don't have the skill level and you don't have the patience, don't waste your time. Just leave it. Give it some time, and then we'll look for the sales. Can this thing drop through the bottom here? It can. It's not going to go very far because remember, there's that impulse to the upside. We don't have the move to the downside will have to be an equivalent, not necessarily equal to, but an equivalent of this. Equivalent means something that is matching that, not necessarily equal to it. Right? So we can get something like that and then get an up move. If you really want to sell it, look for a flag here. But you got to be careful because that flag might just come here and go right back up. So better to put an entry under the low here. And that is a dangerous trade. You've seen how many of those entries when you have an incomplete pattern, they're dangerous, right? So if this is going to tag you, this is a very aggressive sell. I'll put it as a sell, but a very aggressive sell. That means if you don't have the skill level, don't take it. The only reason I'll put that here is what if it actually does this and drop through the bottom here and then go back up like this? I would be satisfied with that running flat. 1, 2, 3, and then a running flat there and then drop. So in that case, you can make an assumption that what if this thing, when the euro spikes to the upside, this thing drops straight through the bottom? Why not go for the trade? If you have the skill level, take it. Let's go. Dollar CAD. Okay, it's still going sideways. Well, it looks like we still got our running flat, right? We might have got our running flat. Remember, we assumed this could be a running flat. So if this is going to continue to go up, we'll look for a trade. We don't have a buy setup. There is no buy setup in it at the moment. But if it does make it, this one actually came back way back to the low, so we'll have to be careful. Could it be they're trying to go down more? So if this is a consolidation to go down more, this would have to come back here, go back up there, make a flat here, and then we'd look for the sell. Right? If we get that flat, we'll look for a sell setup. If not, this could be the running flat. This could be the running flat, and this could just make a flag here and go up. We'll buy it. If we get a flag like that, we'll buy it. Right? So if it makes a flag, we go for the buy, we take the risk. If it comes back deep, we wait for it to go back up and then we sell it. Yen. Okay. This is not getting the pullback we're looking for, but you're getting another small flag here. Basically, if you want to buy it. If you're looking for a buy, there's a small flag. You might get another impulse out of it like this. I would take a lot of caution with that impulse, right? I'll be very, very careful because this thing is at an extremely high place. I mean, extremely high. It's much higher than I expected to go when we were talking about it going up, right? It broke this top and it can go quite a lot more after it breaks the top. All you'll get is a running flat, right? Eventually, you're going to get this move down. The question is from where? Will it go some more and then bring this move down here? That would be a perfect running flat. Absolutely nothing will be wrong with that. And then this will go, right? So we've had running flats like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, the only question is here, do you want to buy at that extremely top on a 60 minutes flag? Take the chance if you want to. Nothing's wrong with that. I can't say that something is wrong with that. What happened to my MACD? Oh, it's there. Yeah, there's a lot of divergence in here and there's a lot of divergence here. So every buy becomes pretty dangerous. You have to take it with caution. Every sell setup is amazing. Do we have a sell setup? Let's say on the 15. It keeps pushing back to the top. That's the problem, right? If it goes back to the top, I'm looking at this mostly as a flat, right? Mostly coming back here for one more up. So if you want to buy, put an entry above the top. It goes up, you get a trade. I would not put any buy in this. I'll probably wait for the sell. I'm waiting for the sell. We took some sells, some break even, some small losses, some profit. These were very good profit going down. So we'll wait for the sell setups because if you're going to have a big surprise, it's going to be to the downside. Euro New Zealand. Okay, so yesterday we took this trade. We had it like this. We took that trade up. We closed it because it was coming down, but then they stop here and they start to go back up. So let's put this the way we think it is doing. I think this is a flat of its own. All right, this one is a smaller flat here now. This could be starting the upside, which means we will go with this as the running flat. And it's going up already. It's about to break the top, but we are at the top of this bigger structure. See this? This bigger structure here. We've got this move down. We've got that move up. This move up here. We've got to pull back here and we're going with this. Now, here's the thing. There's a huge flat in the middle of this move. By rule, when that happens, all this will do is break the top and then come right back here as a correction back to the bottom here and then go. So this whole thing becomes a much bigger corrective structure. That is by rule that happens. Yes, that's a good question, by the way. Do you always use MACD to assist you in the anticipation of a reversal? Always. The dying out of the momentum to the upside is a very, very, very good indicator that whatever is happening here is going to stop and give you either a correction or a reversal. Now, we're not expecting a reversal here. What we're expecting is, if this comes back down here, if this, either this takes off and the MACD changes, which means this eventually go, right? Or this comes, break the top and come back down to the bottom here, something like this, and then this goes. This would be a flat like that. The only reason I'm looking for that possibility is because we have a really big correction in the middle here. Normally, when you're making an impulsive move, see that impulsive move down? This has the correction. There is no correction, big correction inside of this, right? So that is telling me there's a good chance they're going to come here before they go. Now, go back to the 1 hour. Should we buy it? Absolutely. Don't think twice about buying this if you get a setup. So what I want there is a 1 hour flag. I want a 1 hour flag, and I'll take this trade to break that top, and I'll put it to break even. If they break the top and they reverse, I'll either get a small profit or break even, and then I look for a flag and we'll sell it back to the bottom here. And then we start to buy it. But we'll buy this because if this takes off, this flat is in there, but that didn't affect it from going, we'll be in the trade, right? Just like we thought this was a running flat, those two corrections, and it doesn't really change it as much. So take the trade, let's see. Euros. I think Euros will come back down. Again, this is going up very correct. It's going up. Now the question is this all of the correction? Is that all of the correction? And can this take off? Normally when they take off, this is what they do after a correction, right? So this was a correction. This was a small correction, they took off. This was a correction, this one actually went sideways. You might want to consider whether all of that is one thing. Look how it took off. Look how this took off. See what happens here when we finish this big correction? We're not actually taking off, we're pulling back along. And that means there's a good chance that this whole thing is not finished, right? You could put it like this now. There was a nice flat here, by the way. You can look at, I think this would be the running flat. But this one is a correction of its own in the middle. So you have something like this. Let me put it. You have a big, nice running flat in the middle there. That. So you have an impulse down, you have an impulse up, you have a correction here, you got an impulse up, you got a one there, you get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is going up. So if this is the start of the upside, let's take this off now. Let's assume that, okay, this is the low, this is going up totally. So we're totally going up to the top. Where this thing should take us? This is a big correction. This is your first impulse up. This is the big correction here, right? So, sorry, all the way back to this level. So if this is the up move, wait for it to make a flag anywhere here, and then we start buying. We'll buy with caution, right? Because we don't know how high it will go above that before it actually goes down. This is a bigger correction. We will buy that with caution, right? So we'll trade this back up to the top here, see how high they go. I assume they could get like that. And then from there, downside. But there are trades to get. So let's go back on the 1 hour, wait for a 1 hour flag, and then take the trade. We never got any 1 hour flag. If they're going to drop from this level, it means we're going to be in a bigger correction, right? So wait for a flag above this top, wait for a flag there, and then take the trade. Pretty simple. Euro yen. Yep, it should come back sharp, and it's came back sharp. So now we can literally put this flat here. You can literally, it might come a little more, or you can even take it for that. Any move up here with a flag is a buy. Any move up there with a flag would be a buy. Let's see how it goes. Can they actually drop without coming back, without giving you this one? I don't think we're looking for any contracting flat anywhere, so I don't think that is going to happen. It could drop one more. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They don't necessarily have to. We're looking at this mostly as the running flat now. It can be this, or it can come a little lower. Regardless, you want an impulse, you want a flag, and then you buy. So if this is going to drop a little more, we can let it drop. Vamos. Okay, so this did break out. It's going up. It's not going up aggressively. It just needs to break this top, and then we'll start to look for sell setups. What you're looking at is this, right? We're in this range. This is the range. That is the first move up. This is the next move down. That is the move up. This is the move down. And we're getting this one here, right? This is not looking very impulsive. So just like this was a correction here, let me just put the correction correctly so most of you will see what I'm looking at. We're looking at this correction. right? That correction. You got an impulse, you got a correction, you got an impulse, you're getting a bigger correction. I still think this is a bigger correction. Even this might still be a bigger correction. See that? That could still be in the correction because it's literally just going up and down, right? This could be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, come back here, then do this, and then drop. But it's going to drop, right? So the question is, where do we take the sell? No problem. Just wait for an impulse and a flag, and then we'll sell. We don't have that. At first, I thought these three was enough, but then you're making, I think these three are enough. I think this is enough. This is the flat because this one didn't come back to the low. So I will go with this one as a smaller version of a flat in here. It's going up. It's making a smaller one. Let it go up. And at some point it drop, makes a flag, and we start to sell. The buy here is dangerous. It's not worth the risk to reward. It's not worth risking your money. There isn't a lot to the upside remaining, but there's a lot to the downside. So if we're going to trade this inside of this zone, you're trading from the top coming down and from the bottom going up. You're not trading from the top going to the top or from the bottom going to the bottom. That doesn't make sense. You can get yourself in more trouble than making money. And Pong in. Okay, so we've got to pull back. By the way, there was a flag. I don't know if anybody sold the flag. You should have sold the flag. This one, there's a flag here. You sell the flag always and you put it to break even. Any one of you did that, great. We're assuming that this is the running flat. Let's make that assumption that it's making the running flat here, right? Then there's one more impulse up. At least one more up. If we're wrong about that, let's go back to the 15. I don't see where we can go wrong about that because this sharp move, we never really got a sharp move anywhere. So this is the up move. This is your flat. This is the next up move. This is the down move. You're making the down move there now. We want to move up. We want a flag. We buy. A move up and a flag and you buy. Don't try to pick a little low here. You don't know that that's the low. Wait for it to confirm that's the low and then we go with the trade. So we'll put this like this. We'd assume that this is finding a low here and we have a top already, which is going to be this one. And now we're looking for one more impulse up. Let's see if we get that. One more impulse up and then we'll see where it goes. Pong Oz has an impulse on the second move down. Let's see. Pong Oz has an impulse on the second move down of the bigger structure. Can you please clarify as to where the spike up belongs? You're talking about this spike up here, right? I assume you're talking about that. This is what you call an expanding flat. It's one of those rare patterns. I can show you it in the Aussie New Zealand. I can show it in the Aussie dollar and the monthly. So you guys will take note. Remind me to show you when we finish. Show you that. It's a huge expanding flat. We saw that about 2 years ago. We identified more than 2 years, about 3 or 4 years ago, we identified that pattern on the Aussie dollar monthly chart. I'll show you later. I think the New Zealand has one as well. It's a rare pattern. You don't see that often. Let's go. Yen. We're looking at the yen. Swiss also is dropping. I don't know if any one of you sold it because we were thinking of a sell. We just weren't selling it, right? So if any one of you sold that or sold this, take your profit. Be careful. This, we're waiting for the turning point on this. So either this flat is over, either we look at this flat as a complete flat there, right? Or at some point they'll come back here and drop again. I'm not interested in the sell on this one at the bottom there. Again, all the Swiss pairs are at the bottom of a structure like this, right? You're not really interested in sell here, right? You're not trying to get the last piece of the sell. You can probably get like this or like this, right? They're dangerous. So what you're trying to get at the bottom from the bottom there, when you think it's making about it, is to come back to the top. And once you get to the bottom, let's see if we can go back to the top. So put it on the hourly and let's see what happens. This is going, but like I said, there are better trades to trade than to trade this one. But if you took the trade, at least put it to break even. Don't keep it. Pound New Zealand. Okay, so we went up. Now this one is a little tricky because now you have this flat, right? This sharp move here only goes with this piece that is going up here, right? We've got this. We've got this down here and we've got that. So this is a flat in the making. If this thing comes back here, whether it comes back like this or it comes back sharp, this whole thing would be some huge flat pattern here. And that is putting us in a more complex structure now, right? Because if we get a big flat here, if this thing comes back here for a big flat, go back up there, we'll end up with this flat. We'll end up with this 1, 2, 3. So we'd have to come back down like this, really, really slow here. Complete this one, and then go back up like that. right? We'll have to go back up like this. So we might be stuck here for a long time. Can we sell or buy within the range? Well, if you really get an absolutely good setup, then you'll take the trade. Otherwise, do not ignore it, right? Once you're in that range. But if this comes here and you see this one, like that was a sell, this was a sell, they didn't really go anywhere much, but those were sells. So if you get a sell set up here, we'll take that back to the low. It might not go very much. It might just come here and then make a deeper one and come and you get a 3 or 4 break-even trades before you get to the bottom, but that's okay. We can take the trades. Aussie yen. Aussie yen came back down. So now this came down a little more. And now we're going to watch this with caution. Take this off. From this point, it either goes back up now. We want an impulse and we want a flag. If that works. If they break through more, it has to make a really big flat before we decide we're going to sell it. Right? Because I don't see it sell set up. I think we should go up one more. Aussie should go one more before it falls. So I'm expecting this Aussie yen to at least do this and then drop to this level. If this is going to drop, let's say for whatever reason, that is some contracting flat in there. Let's assume it is. We have to have a really big flat here before I go with the trade. Most likely, I think it's a running flat. We should have one more up and then drop. Let's see which one comes. Aussie Swiss. Okay, so Aussie Swiss was the aggressive trade I showed you already, which you should have closed right in here. And now it's a contracting flat. So we take that out. I already explained that. Did I explain it before or after the recording start? I think I know the recording had already started. We took this off when I explained. So what we were looking at is this. This is very aggressive. And all the Swiss pairs, remember I showed you all the Swiss pairs are at the bottom of a structure, right? At the bottom of the correction. All the Swiss pairs are there. Pound Swiss, Euro Swiss, this one. So this is at the bottom. We knew this was going to break, but we were thinking because of the bottom, there's a good chance that this could be a big flat that actually goes up. So we put the entry with caution that you're going to get rid of it. And it was pretty easy to get rid of. There was not a big, it didn't really drop. It just tagged you and then made that consolidation. That's your exit. You exit there, you close the trade, probably don't sell it because we haven't broken that up. Only if we break the top, then we'd look for sell setup. So which means we're expecting them to break the top. That's why we bought and then put it to break even. And the way down, any flag would have been a sell. So if this flag was on the way down here after breaking the top, that would have been a sell. But that didn't happen, so you're not selling. It's at the bottom here, you don't have any sell setup. If you're going to sell this, if it's going to continue to go down more and you're going to sell it, you need a flat or a flag before you can sell. And if you get that, you will still sell it with a lot of caution, which means you would be careful that it could be the last impulse down, right? Anytime we get a setup for a buy, we will take it. Any buy setup now, we will take the trade. Aussie CAD. Okay, this one coming down. This is nothing new. Let's see what the bigger picture is. We did break that up, or we came back to the top. We're coming to make a new low. See the bigger picture in this, Aussie CAD. We're not expecting it to break the low again. I was expecting it to go up and not break the low again, but let's see. If it comes down deeper, we'll see. We don't have any sell set up in that. And we still have to get this sharp move. We still have to get that sharp move up because we've got a small flat there. So let it make that sharp move up. It probably will come back here and then we'll see if it goes. Leave that alone. Let's see. New Zealand CAD. Oh, this actually came. So it turns out this is the flat, right? We have to go with that one. Take this off. It's not an expanding flat. This would have to be some kind of a contracting flat in here that you'd look for. If you go into 50 minutes, you'll probably put it as a country. We'll have to put this either as a separate correction of its own. At that point, this is the top. So this would be more of a contracting flat there. I don't think it broke the low. It might have broken the low. If it breaks the low, that would be a flat of its own. Top, we're coming down. What's the trade to the downside? Let's go to 4 hour and see. One more to break this low. Take this off. If that's a running flat, which it turns out it is, we're expecting at least one more impulse down to break this low and then go back up, right? Just like 1, 2, 3, go back up, right? So if you look at this whole structure coming from the daily, we're at the bottom of it, right? So this is the move they're in. Put it here so you can get an ID, right? This is the move you're in. So you made this move down, 1, 2, 3, you made that one. This one is at the bottom here. So at some point, this starts to go back up like that to complete this flat. And then maybe come back down. So because you're at the bottom of that structure, and in this one, you're at the bottom of the same structure again, of the down structure, at the bottom half of the down structure, this move can be a sell, but only to break this low, right? So if we get the sell set up, we'll take it. If you wait, it will make about, this is a very small flag. If this makes a correction like this, or a flat like this, or something like that. So if this starts to consolidate here, we'll take this trade to drop and break that low. So you put an entry here, you put a stop here, and you go for a 1-to-1 trade. It can go a little lower, but we'll go for at least a 1-to-1 trade. In that case, you double your risk. So you get a very good risk to reward in it. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, this one we expected, but like all the Swiss pairs, we're not worried about the sell at the bottom there, right? So I expect this to drop, but I'm not interested in the sell at the bottom, not on any of the Swiss pairs. Again, when they start to go up, that's when I'll be getting interested. So this one dropping here is not a problem. That's pretty much something we saw coming. Wait for a reversal. Any reversal will buy. Any reversal. What I wanted to do at this point, the line is irrelevant. It can come here. I want an up move. I want a flag, and we start buying. It goes for all the Swiss pairs. New Zealand yen. This one is much bigger than I thought it should be. Let's see. We are expecting the sharp move down, but not such a big sharp move. And we still have to come back to the bottom here. Did we break that up? No, not exactly. So here's the thing. Let's put this at the 50. It's coming down the way we expected. So I will still go with the possibility of this being the running flat. So if this turns and go back up, we might get a trade to the upside, and then we're going to get a sell from the top coming down, right? If it's, let's assume for whatever reason, this one is anything else but that. I don't know, an expanding flat here, a running flat somewhere else in here, right? And this is the top of the move. This has to give me a really, really big flag like this before we sell, a correction before we sell. The correction will confirm the downside. As of now, we're thinking upside, right? So we have to stay with the upside until we get a correction. And the correction is something like this. Pretty easy, give us a correction like that. Stays there, make a correction like that, confirm you're going to drop, we'll sell it. If it's not confirming, then they go back up one more. We may or may not get the buy, but we will definitely get a sell. Canadian, also coming down. Same thing, we would treat this. This was your buy, take this off. I hope you close those trades already. This was the sell entry, take it off. Now, we still have this. We still have this sharp move, right? We still have the sharp move here. So we'll still assume that they're making this sharp move, which is, it could come a little more. This would have been a good sell. Actually, it can come a little more here, then go back. So if you want to sell that on a 15, it's an aggressive sell, right? Because it's a really small flag. If you want to sell on the 15, if you have the ability to manage a trade like that, you have to put a stop here. I don't know how low it's going to go. Some of them went lower, but this can go. Let's see what's the size of this move. It doesn't have to be equal, but it could be. So let's bring this up here and see what's the size of that move. That's a very aggressive sell, right? So if you're assuming that they're going to have the same size, you have a trade back to this level. And then you may want to take profit. You want to move it to break even really fast if it doesn't go. It's a very aggressive sell if you want to take it. So we can put it as an aggressive sell, and you make your own decisions, right? Basically, I'm not making any trade call in any case for anybody. Let's see, Cat Swiss. Okay, there was a sell here, but you should have closed that already. Let's see, only 1 hour, how much hours it took. Yeah, it's kind of stayed there for a longer time. Close the trade, wait for this flag, and then if you want to still sell it here. It's coming down slow, so I think we might still get this. And then up again. Complete this flat, and then we drop, right? So since it went for like so many hours and it's not going down, if you still want to sell it, wait for a flag. So this is not a flag, so wait for a flag, sell it here. I'll take that out. That's not a trade we're putting on. That's something you have to wait for that flag on the 15. Make sure you get a 15 minutes flag here, a correction or something, and then decide if you want to sell it. You can do that, basically. But you remember you're within the correction, right? This is all correction. You're still within that correction. And I do think that this might come here and go back up, making this flat, see? And then go back up, and then we look for the sell. Swiss yen. This is another sell setup you can go with if you want, an aggressive sell. Why aggressive? Because they're not going really far, right? Sorry, wrong one. That's not the one I was looking for. Take that off. Where's the one? Where's the, oh, this one? You can go with a sell here if you want. Let's see if you can put that higher. Yeah, you can actually put that here under the low, under the last impulse. You can put it there. Let's see how far we expect this to go down. Actually, this one doesn't have, this one has a flat here already. See, this has its own flat. That actually completed a flat. That impulse complete. So this is a good sell. This is not making a running flat. We don't have a running flat here. See, there is no running flat. That is the top. That running flat had completed itself. So I would say put that on the 1 hour, put that sell on for sure. That's a sell setup. Regardless of what happened to the trade, that's a sell. I like it. So we put that sell on. You can even put it under the low just to be sure, just to be on the safe side, and keep your stop above the top. So you're putting this under the low, keep your stop above the top. That's a good consolidation for sell because this running flat already has its state, right? Unlike all the others, this one is matching this one. See that pullback there in the 50? You already had a running flat completed itself. So in that case, we don't need this to pull back. This just make another flat and went, and another flat and went. We're looking for the sell setup. I like it. So we put this sell setup and let's go. You're waiting for a sell setup here too. Wait for this to make a 1 hour flag or a good 15-minute flag and then take the trade to the downside. Let's go. Natural gas. It's a very long webinar because I'm going through a lot of this in very, very detail for you guys. It's just to help you guys understand patterns and make better decisions. And natural gas, well, if you took the trade, close the trade and put the entry here. You have break even. Close it, put it there. Let's see this. It will probably consolidate more. Excellent trade. I hope you guys got it. We took this in the trading room or in the regular room. That's your sell setup. This is your sell setup. I think we took it after the webinar, right? This one, we had an entry here, but you could have moved that entry upwards to this level, right? You can take this one, it doesn't matter, but you should have put the entry here. Those were two sell setup. I think it was after the webinar in the New York session, we put this on. After the 45 minutes that we were after, we put these two sell here, right? This one was here. And I think one of my traders asked me about this and we said, okay, put an aggressive entry sell there. Perfect. You're in a good sell, right? Now where we expect this to go, it will go some more. Remember, we're expecting this move down. If you're following me from the start, remember I said we're not keen in the buy at the top there. We're expecting this move down to happen. And then we're expecting this move up to happen. And that would complete the flat because then we were expecting this move down to happen. And from there, it's anybody's guess. Is it going to go back up or is it just going to continue to drop? So basically, this is what we're looking. Good trade, excellent. Any one of you guys got the trade, by the way, who were there in the New York session when we put it on? I'm pretty sure somebody asked me about that trade. Okay, Peter, you asked me. Well, one done. Peter got it. One person? That is amazing. Well, maybe most of the guys were from the New York session who got it because that was where we put it on. Okay, 2 people got it. Great, not bad. 2 out of 60. Well, I know yesterday we had 40-something people in the New York session. So I think more people in there would have it. You guys should join the session if you can. Let's go. PayPal, nothing. It's going down. That's a sell. If you were in the sell, you may want. That's a long. That sell was there for a very, very long time. There is no trade set up here. It's consolidating. We closed that sell already. Look for a consolidation, then sell. Tesla, nothing. It's going back up. It's going to make a flat if you buy it. If you bought this here, watch it at this level. From there, that's a flat, and then you're going to drop, right? So be careful. Amazon, nothing. Let it go back up. US 30, we already did this. We already did all of these, right? We're not going to go through them again. Nifty. Nothing. Nifty is coming down, so you don't really want to sell it here. You want this to come down here deeper and then go, consolidate here, and then we will take this for a sell. So it's not a flag anymore. So the buy setup is not ready, which means it can drop some more. And all of these I'm going to go through really, really, really fast. So here's the thing with this. Let's put it like this. If you bought that yesterday and you see it stuck here for so long, you should close the trade. Now, remember what I said also, what you want to do is you want to wait for a deeper correction here. A long drawn out correction and then buy. If you're buying in the short term, you have to get rid of the trade. It is there for how many hours? It's not going anywhere. Right? Once it's stuck at one place. If you're still in the trade, don't worry. There's a good chance it will come back at least at this level for the consolidation, and then you get it. What if it is dropping? Let's go with what if it is dropping. And I explained that just a bit. Don't worry. If this comes down and drop here, it's going to go right back up. They will make corrections. It will become a bigger correction here and then drop. So you will get your chance to exit that trade because you're at the low point. You're at the very low point. If you took any of them and you're stuck in them, you will get the hell out of them. All of them have the same setup. We knew this one was going to drop more because this one was pretty easy. This one will probably drop and break the low because it didn't break the low. It should break the low, then go back up. Some of them broke the low. This one broke the low. This can go up, wait for a deeper correction. Actually, if this stays here and make a deeper correction, if this makes a bigger flat here, we're going to buy. See if we get a big flat like that or a big flat like this, we're going to buy. So we're waiting for the buy setups. We're waiting for them to make bigger corrections, all of them. This one again, if you bought the same thing, if you didn't close it, I'm in the 4 hour. That is how many hours? That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 floors, 24. That's a whole day. If it didn't go, you take it off, but don't worry if you didn't take it off. Right? Remember, you're buying these as investment. That's how I'm trading them, as investment. So you will get the hell out of it. Or even if it makes a new low, it goes back up, we'll get out of the trade. You're a pretty low point. They will go back up like this, even if they make another low. Now, I'm thinking that most likely what we'd expect here is that even if it drops here, it's going to start to go back up, or we get a bigger consolidation here and then take off. So let's see. If it comes back to that level and you're positive, close trade, then wait for a bigger correction. You can do that on all of them. This one, we didn't put anything. This one is going to drop more. This one, we didn't do anything. This one looks like it could drop more. Literally, this looks like it could drop more. So we'll wait and see if it makes a big consolidation here. We start buying because this is a low, but this piece came back more like a corrective structure, not like a flat. So we'll wait and see. Link. This definitely looks like it's going to make a new low, right? This looks like a flat. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes here and then go, or even come here and then go back up and then drop here and then go, right? So they might not be taking off very soon, and you can do the same for all of them. This one actually has a big flat. Let me show you this. I like this for a buy already because this has a big flat. See this? There is a big correction here. If you look at this whole piece here as the correction, if you look at this entire piece here as the correction, it could be a bigger one for me. But if you look at just, because this is sharp, if you look at this making a bigger one, it could also go back up and come back down, right? Which means you'd look at this as 1, 2, 3. You look at that at 1, 2, 3, and then you look at this as 1, 2, 3. So it could be here for a while. Any up move here that gives us a flag, we'll start to buy. Let's give this some time, and if that consolidates there, we'll start buying. Same here. If you got tagged in that and you didn't close it, just wait for it to pull back, take off the trade, let it make a new low, and then we go back with it, right? If it's making a deeper consolidation, they'll probably even come back all the way here and then do this, and then go, you close the trade, put an entry above the top, we go with it. If it's falling, it will make a flag, exit the trade, let it drop, buy back at the bottom, right? So we'll see which one comes first. Let's see this. Nothing, this could drop. This is not a sell. This is where we exit the trade. That's a low. This one could drop. So I definitely think this could drop. This could drop here and even drop through, make a new low and then go back up. So I don't think this one is going. A lot of them could still drop one more. This could make a big flat here. There's a low, right? So it could make a big flat here, or it could drop. Put an entry above the top. If that is a big flat, it will take off. This here. This could drop more. I definitely think that this one is really slow. This up move was really, really slow. So this could drop, make a new low, and then go. They're about to find a low, right? Most of them are the low. This one could be both. It could drop as well as if this could be a big correction making here. Right, a big correction here before it goes. Let's give it some time. We'll have enough time to decide. If you think it's going to take off like a rocket, put an entry here. Did we break the low? Yeah, we broke the low. So put an entry there. You're looking for a sharp move up like this. If we're right about it and it spikes up, you get the trade. If it drops, I think only one of them spiked. This one spiked. This one didn't go anywhere. This is going to drop lower. You can see that. This one spiked. Right? And that was an entry order here, actually. So this one, look at this. This was yesterday. This arrow was here. Where do you think that arrow came from? Here. So you should have taken profit out of this already. So we said we wanted to spike up, make this, and then go back and break the low. That is a running flat. Now it's coming down back to break the low. So it's going to drop here and then look for buy setups. Pretty clear. If you're in the trade, you can put an entry order to sell and don't worry about it. If you sold it already, good. And now when it makes the low, we will look for buy setup. So they're all probably going to break the low, and then we'll get buy setup. Thank you very much. Let's see, we'll track these cryptos for investment and see if maybe in a couple months or so, if they get to where we want them to go, we'll come back, do a session, remind you guys what we were looking for and how much we have and how it's going, right? Trade with care. See all of you in the New York session. And please share the link. Invite somebody you know. Come on, save a friend who is having trouble. How to differentiate between impulsive waves and B waves are running flat structurally. So here's a good example. This is an impulsive wave. This is to your question, and this is a B wave as a running flat. You got your answer right in front of you. Structurally, how they look. I hope that helped you, right? Right here, here's a running flat. You got one example. You watch it happen live, and you watch it's coming down as well. So I hope you got your answer. And all the running flats are the same. Structurally, the B wave is more corrected. It's not an impulsive wave. So you start to figure out that it's making a running flat and it breaks the law. Okay, everybody, have a great time. Trade with care. See all of you in the New York session. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. We'll take more questions in the New York session.